Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's time for our weekly chat conversation um, workshop. It's it's time for we. I'm slightly late. I'm just gonna check the sound to see how we are. I'm slightly late because I'm training in a bit and have to get myself
As
sorted. Okay, great.
I'm doing it, I'm
Sound is fine.
training.
Sound is fine. All right. Okay. So my name is Joanna Daniel. For those who are new to the channel, I am a counselor and I live in Wales. Thank you for somebody's just joined. I really appreciate you coming on and being here with me every day. Sometimes you're here, and I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, just please put them in the chat. I've also put ways to contact me in the comment section below. I'd really love to, yeah, to connect if there's anything that you'd like me to do for speaking or workshops or anything like that. So today I'm talking about fears. But first, I want to check in with how your week was. And last week we dealt really heavily with thoughts and looking at your thoughts and thought patterns and some of the things that you can do to overcome. On was it on Friday when I went all the way in, or was it Thursday when I went all the way in and really go deeper into some of the ways that you can manage your thoughts. So I hope that was beneficial. I hope you found it useful and there are things that you can apply. These are things that I use every day in my workshops, in my sessions with really good results. So give them a try. So today I'm talking about fears. If facing your fears, if when you face your fears, does that mean you overcome them? And I wanted to, just a point of caution for some people because there's lots of talk about facing your fears, face your fears and do it anyway, feel the fear and do it anyway, and that kind of stuff. And while there's a place for that, there's also a place for when the fear is based in traumatic events, and you might need the help of a professional in order to break down the story around the fears, in order to deal with the negative thoughts around the fears, in order to deal with the stuff around that are around the fears that is causing the problems that it's causing. So face the fears in the simple things, yeah, but when it's something that has that as its root, then you might need to get help in order to do that. So say for example, I know that in facing fears around when my daughter had a fear of dogs, because we had gone to the park one day, and we were just sitting enjoying the sunshine, and I don't remember how many dogs just bound over the hill and just kind of went for her. They were just playing, they just wanted to play, but she was young, and so that was really frightening for her. And for years after that we had real problems going to the park because she was afraid of dogs. So that's a fear that we had to gradually desensitize her to, by not forcing her to be around dogs or forcing her to have contact, but gently talking her through what it feels like, gently, being with her as if we're walking in the park and we're going past a dog, we would hold her hand and we would talk softly. We would just be there, hold her, stand in front of her as she trembles, just kind of not pretending that there's not a fear, not telling her she shouldn't feel the way she feels, but working with her with how she felt until the fear dissipated, until it went, and she was able to walk in the park without worrying about being attacked by a dog. And that took some time. Now, granted that she was young, but some of us as adults have had those experiences in our younger life, and those fears are still with us. So those are some of the things that can you can gently desensitize yourself to that particular thing and manage the fear that way. However, as I said, when it's a big thing, and sometimes even in some of those things, you might need to get the help of a counselor to be able to help you with that process of desensitization, that process of getting you to be able to see that thing and to face that thing that you find really frightening, because doing it on your own might not be the best, might not be the easiest thing to do, might not be the wisest thing to do on your own. So you might need a friend to go with you. If, say, for example, you have the dog situation, you might say to a friend, look, I'm really struggling with this. I'm really struggling with, I want to get over my fear of dogs. I want to get over my fear of dogs. Could you please, go to the park with me on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning, and just, be there with me. So somebody that's safe, somebody that you can trust, somebody who wouldn't ridicule you, somebody who would listen, somebody who would be patient and understanding, somebody who is you're comfortable with because they share their own fears, and you know that this is going to be safe with them as you, and you're going to be safe with them as you work through this thing that you need to work through in order to get over it. Okay, so that's one way. If it's something that's not big and rooted in anything traumatic, then you might be able to, do it on your own. Take little steps. Go do the thing little bits at a time. I know if when things are scary, excuse me, frightening, you do it a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And as you do it, little bits at a time, over time, that thing, the fear that you had around it, the brain is getting used to it, and you're developing new pathways, and you're getting yourself more and more accustomed to that thing, and that might be different things. So in those cases, facing it, yeah, will help you to overcome it. Facing, if we were to keep my daughter away from the park and never go back because of she was, because of her experience and because she's afraid, then she'd probably still be afraid of dogs. But we didn't do that. We kept going. We talked to her, helped her through it, helped her to understand what's going on, protected her, shield her, left when it was too distressing. All of those things helped her to gradually be okay with them again. And now they're so okay with dogs that they want to have one at home. That's a whole nother story altogether. But so facing it sometimes might help you to manage, might help you to overcome. Sometimes for some people, it's facing the fear in a safe space in counseling. Some people will not address painful life events because they feel that if I start talking about it, I'll cry and I won't be able to stop. Or it's so big, it's so scary, it's so frightening, it's just me. Nobody else will understand. This has never happened to anyone else. And because those fears are around the event, then you even not go speak to someone in a safe environment where you can get help to work out that thing, and that is detrimental. That is detrimental. So in that situation as well, facing it definitely will be helpful to you. Facing it with someone who is able to hold you and to hold this thing and to help you to work appropriately through it, those things are beneficial. So think about that. Think about the thing that you're battling and you're struggling with. And sometimes things are heightened in this period when, as people said to me, it's lockdown, Joanna. We don't have the same coping mechanism that we used to have. We can't put things off anymore. We have to deal with it. We're not busy. And so the noise of the fears and the negative thoughts and all of that kind of stuff is louder and louder and louder. And I know people are struggling, and that's why we're here. So I want to encourage you to, make note of what are those things that I find particularly difficult? What are those things that I find challenging? What are those things that I struggle with that I feel I need to face? For some people, it's public speaking. For some people, it's maybe dogs, as I say. For some people, it's foods, going certain places, traveling on your own, going out on your own. It's wide and wide ranging, and a variety of things that might be your fears. What is yours? Sometimes the fear is talking to someone, telling someone how you feel about how they treat you, the lack of disrespect. Sometimes the fear is self-advocacy. How do I tell this person this is how I feel? How do I set a boundary? Sometimes people are afraid to set boundaries. I did an audio last night for somebody who is working through boundaries. How do I value myself enough to set boundaries? Sometimes that's a fear of saying no. If I say no, what will happen? Definitely facing that one will be beneficial for you. If you say no, saying, you might not know how to say it now, but learning how to say it is going to be really important. facing the fear of um, saying what my needs are. How do I say what my needs are? If I say it, will they still like me? Will they say want to be with me? So that's facing the fear of being rejected or abandoned, being left. And that fear would be rooted in trauma, the trauma of being abandoned, the trauma of being left. And remember, abandonment is not just physical abandonment, where somebody left you and went to another country or left you and went to live somewhere else. It can also be emotional abandonment, where they were there but they weren't there. They were there but they couldn't see you, couldn't hear you, didn't advocate for you, didn't defend you, didn't protect you. There was nobody to talk to. So those are abandonment just as well, and you will experience it in similar ways as you would somebody who left. So sometimes the fear around being left stops us from putting boundaries in place, in saying no, in advocating for ourselves, in stepping up and speaking up on our own behalf, because we fear these people leaving. And in situations like that, the relationships tend to be unsafe and unhealthy, toxic even. But because the fear of being left is so great, that we choose to stay in those places that are not serving us and are not okay and not good for us because we're afraid. And in those cases, definitely facing those fears and getting help to be able to put boundaries in place, getting support as you maintain the boundaries is absolutely better for you than living in the fear of what if. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for coming on, for joining, and for being here with us every single day. Please continue to like and share the videos. We really appreciate that. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.